Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to another weekly video. I'm in the podcast studio at Calvary Boise, and I like to call my podcast The Collab, where I talk with people and collaborate in ministry and mission and just kind of try to understand how teams work, how mission works, and doing that together with other people. And so today I have the privilege of having with me Ashlee Chaffee, who is our interim kids ministry director at Cole Community Church. And so, Ashlee, here you are in the studio. How's it feel to be here?
Here I am. Lots of lights.
Sounds good. So really the big idea today is just to see what we can talk about with kids ministry to give the body a better idea of what's going on, maybe what's coming up, and then any changes, things like that, and just kind of give a little bit of a vision for kids ministry. So the first thing probably is just like, tell us a little bit about like your passion for kids and what that looks like and how you ended up in this role as interim kids director.
Sure. So I've served in children's ministry for many, many years, but now I have 2 kids of my own and a bunch of nieces and nephews. And so just continued that teaching in Sunday school role through all of that and have kind of a vested interest in the program with my own 2 children. And so a little over a year ago, not
even that long, because I've only been there 7 months. So
that was January-ish, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. So 7-ish months ago, you and I were chatting, and just decided that it was probably time to just take an interim role, and we were officially onboarding our new curriculum, which is the Gospel Project.
Love it.
And so we've been using that ever since. And you asked, I think you asked what's coming up next. So
just to kind of tell us a little bit. Well, I mean, just first of all, I wanted to hear your heart, and I think that's cool to hear that you're a mom and you care about the kids' discipleship, right? And I think that maybe we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I think that idea that God sometimes really uses the normal passions of our life to lead us into ministry, even, that's really cool. So thanks.
Yeah. Well, and I mentioned the Gospel Project too, which is basically chronological. Mm-hmm. And so as we were selecting what curriculum to use, that was something I really appreciated as a parent and, in this role as well, because it gives you like a timeline kind of perspective of the Bible. Mm-hmm. And then there's also a piece of it that every week there's a Christ connection. And so even if we're in the Old Testament, like we are right now,
Where are you right now, by the way, in the curriculum?
We are finishing up the Old Testament. Mm-hmm. And so we are coming upon Christmas.
Okay. Christmas in September. Good.
So we're at the very, very end of the Old Testament, and then we are going to be starting in Matthew with Jesus's birth in January. Well, actually end of December. So it aligns with Christmas.
Oh, so you're going to bring Christmas up actually at Christmas.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's, pretty chronological in that way. But that was something that I really loved about the curriculum, and it's been fun to watch my girls, see the perspective and, find relevance in the Old Testament too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I love that because a biblical theology of the Bible is really helpful for all of us, not just for kids. So that's good. So other question, we talked about this, and maybe you can kind of give we're in the middle of church revitalization that I think we need to keep reminding people, like It's only been 6 months, 7 months. Apparently, like we're in the early days still. So it's hard. It's a change. Everything's moving. What is that like for you? And then what's that like for kids ministry right now? Like what's the status of things? And then kind of where are we going? Maybe update us on that.
Yeah. So, the good news, we had goals, and knowing that we were soon to grow, and we've seen that growth even happen just now. Yeah. And so we had wanted to do a couple things like open some new rooms, but we weren't quite there yet. And so we did some things like implementing our new check-in software.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that laid out nicely with some of the lobby renovations that we've done. There's a little bit more work to do. Mm-hmm. But we also were able to actually last week open up another room for our elementary students. And so we were able to split with the growth we've seen. That group of students is just able to be, 2 really good classrooms. I think we had like 7 and 10 students in both younger and older. And so that's awesome to see the growth there. And I think, hopefully, Lord willing, there'll be even more there. And so there is the potential to open up, break out more of those age groups, which I'd love to do as well. And
by the way, what's the average, like now that you multiplied that class into 2, like what's the numbers, and then what's the number of the one you'd like to multiply into 2 classes or rooms?
So I think any week, each of those classes could be around 10 kids.
Okay. Yeah.
For elementary.
The ones that you just opened, like now you have 2, so there's now 10-ish. Yeah.
Ish.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Depending on given Sunday. But, and then I feel like our young toddlers, like the 2, and I kind of would love to split the 2s and 3s and the 4s and 5s into their own group. Because there's younger and older preschool, and there's, age and
big
learning differences.
4 and 5 and 2 and 3, that is totally different. Yeah.
So they're all kind of, toddler-ish, but I think we could really be able to hone in and maybe serve those kids and families better.
Yeah.
So all the curriculums too, though, are the same. So the different age rooms talk about the same story, which is another cool feature.
That is great. Yeah.
So there wouldn't be a ton of difference in the curriculum. It would just be being able to hone in on what's developmentally appropriate, and then hopefully have more manageable class sizes too.
Yeah. So, okay, you mentioned, that's great. You mentioned that, we have a little more work to do in the lobby. So tell me, maybe give people a heads up, like we've talked about it, but what's that going to look like? Check-ins, all that kind of stuff. And
Sure. Yeah. So we've played around a little bit the last couple of months, and I think we've landed. We would like to move the check-in area back by the school window. I guess that's kind of like the coffee wall now.
Yeah, right now the coffee's there.
Yeah. We'll probably be changing a little bit more of that as more lobby renovation happens. But the idea would be that you could walk in our front doors and see, right away, kids check in.
Yeah, I love that, yeah.
I would love to have those iPads, securely bolted down and maybe, labeled, because there is a certain spot. If someone's new, they actually have to go to a certain computer.
Okay. Yeah.
But like a returning person, knows what they're doing and can quickly check in.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a fast lane situation. So those will be there, very visible, and then you could continue on with dropping your kids off in the nursery right away or going into the sanctuary.
Cool. Great. I mean, that's awesome. So I'm cognizant that I forget things, and so as we're doing this, basically want to turn the corner and kind of get close to wrapping up. But tell me anything else that's on your heart, and then how can people help you, because I'm cognizant of that, and then how can people, more important than just helping you, but how can they play a part in the discipleship of these kids in Sunday school? What do you need? Just kind of maybe unveil some of those, that vision and those needs that are coming up.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think as we continue walking into the revitalization, I think, even, our new brothers and sisters that have come over and are helping have been really helpful in just like, hey, here's a different way to do, like kids check-in, for example, new program, or matching up stickers. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in whoever wants to serve. Like I said, those classes that we do want to open up, I would love a few more teachers and helpers. So particularly at the moment, if someone enjoys working with that 2 to 5 year old range, that would be really helpful. It's not a huge time commitment.
What are you asking? Like, that's good.
Yeah. So I would say someone who could serve roughly once a month.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously a little flexibility is really helpful.
Yeah.
But just for stability with the kids, or like if someone's sick. But I also do need like people who know how to connect Bluetooth printers to the iPads.
Okay.
So like our check-in team is a pretty easy lift. It's, less than an hour a week. So if someone's relatively familiar with technology, that would be really helpful to, make sure that that's up and running, and be a friendly face as well to greet people.
Yes, please.
And then I do also, again, just in the realm of, there wouldn't be any teaching prep, but someone who could help, make sure the kids get to class when we release them, and securing that Sunday school hallway. There are a few other duties on that list, but that would be something that there's not a lot of prep work. So if you have some time to give and are, willing to serve in that way, there are ways that help the whole engine run, so to speak, that would be helpful to help build the Sunday school team.
Yeah, cool. Well, I just want to say thank you. I do really, probably, it's always hard, busy life. You don't say thank you enough, but thank you for everything you've been doing. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to just kind of close off and give a little exhortation to our church family. Please say thank you to Ashlee and to all the teachers that serve every Sunday. That's one thing. And that quick story, Sunday school teaching and getting helpers, it's a common theme in church, and it's often something that people talk about. I want to share, we had the same struggle in the church I planted in England, and it got to the point where people just weren't kind of stepping up. And so I ended up actually arranging my preaching schedule to where I could go in and teach the kids once every couple months at least, just because I felt like I wanted to model that to the church. And, I've got plenty to do, so I don't want to do that. But I do want to do it because I love kids. I would love to be in there on a Sunday, and maybe I will be actually. But I want to give a little exhortation, let's all value kids and their discipleship, because Jesus said, go into all the world and make disciples of all the nations. That includes children. And so I want to encourage you to be a part of that discipleship, see how valuable it is. If you see how valuable it is, even if you're tired, maybe you can give one Sunday a month, and there's a whole process. Ashlee can help you with that. And particularly if you're newer to the church and you are one of the younger families or singles or couples that have come along, I want to encourage you, and I'm not putting you on the spot, but I want to encourage you to just take a turn in there. It'd be really good for you. And as a parent, if you actually have kids in the program, so to speak, I'm not going to make a law. Of course, legalism is terrible. But I would encourage you, and I would say my goal and our goal as a church would be that every family that has kids in the program, one of either the husband or the wife, or if it's a single parent, that parent would take a turn in Sunday school on a rotation. The reason being is that not only are you helping and participating, you're learning, and it really helps you as a parent to learn how to disciple your kids because you're teaching kids, and maybe you're good at that already, then you have the gift to give. If you are not good and you're concerned about that, you can grow in that gift, and every parent is called by God to disciple their own kids. So what a win-win situation that is. So anyway, that's my pitch. That's my ask for you guys. Thank Ashlee. Thank the team. Be part of the team. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.